Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where two friends get together and talk about the story behind the matches. I'm Matt.
And I'm Michael.
Welcome to Episode 4, Great American Bash 1985.
Ringmasters. What a tagline.
What a tag. Was Steve Austin on the show?
Steve Austin? No.
Wasn't he the ringmaster?
Oh, God. I'm so easily duped.
Where's my snare?
Snare. I'll bring one next time.
Okay. Great American Bash 1985. As we probably mentioned last week, this is a video that's kind of hard to find. It's a rare videotape that was put out by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It's more of a highlight video. It's only an hour long show, so there's not really any full matches. And actually, the order of the show
is not correct.
It's out of order to what the show was in real life. So, since we've mentioned that, let's head on back to July 6th, 1985. Back to the Future had just been released into theaters, and the Live Aid concerts would raise over $50 million for famine relief in Ethiopia. Most remember the Live Aid concerts as one of Queen's last performances. It's the performance that's shown in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, which is not, the timeline is different, but they're like, we got to put this in the movie. But I didn't watch that movie.
It was a good movie. Not Best Picture.
No.
Good.
Yeah, it was just
good movie.
I love Queen, not too interested in biopics.
I liked it, but I'm a big Queen fan. I love the Queen. Great American Bash, produced by Jim Crockett Productions for the NWA. They were at the American Legion Memorial Stadium.
Is this like a baseball stadium?
I think it was a football stadium.
It's huge, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. That's in Charlotte, North Carolina. The show was broadcast on closed-circuit television in selected areas.
Yeah.
It's said that the attendance is 27,000, but
on the show they say
show 32.
Yeah, on the show they say 32
on the video. So it may like we say, take all these attendance numbers with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Wait, I'll just probably go into the ring setup now because it's very bizarre. It's like a giant field and the rings, of course, in the middle, and then there's chairs.
They're basically at the 50-yard line with 10 rows of chairs around the entire thing,
and then like feels like forever.
And then everybody
away.
else is in the stands.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how they could have seen anything there, but there's a huge amount of grass like between this like stadium seating and the chairs that are actually next to the ring. It's
because you have to have room for the helicopter.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a really cool intro. It showed the stadium, the helicopter landing, some wrestlers entering the ring.
A bunch of circle fades, like swipe fades. With
a really cool voiceover that just kind of got you pumped up and into the video itself. Then we actually go to Gordon Solie and Bill Apter in a studio. And we've talked about Gordon Solie before, but Bill Apter is a new face for us.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Bill.
He was actually the editor for Pro Wrestling Illustrated at
Checks
the time,
out.
which in the 80s and the 90s was kind of their big time that they were Pro Wrestling Illustrated. You had Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated was basically the pro wrestling version of Sports Illustrated.
They don't still make Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
No, it is no longer.
What is
around.
the big magazine now? There's like one that it's always like got all the awards like Wrestler of the Year.
It's the Wrestling Observer newsletter.
No, but there's like a magazine.
I don't know.
It's got I don't know.
I think the PWI Top 500 still gets released. So, I mean, they still may have like a presence online, but it's not an actual magazine. But the magazine basically covered more of the storylines than the backstage news. So it was very kayfabe in that. Also, he was one of the people that helped compile the PWI 500, which is a list of the top 500 wrestlers every year, basically.
Yeah.
Which to me is insane that you would actually be able to find 500 wrestlers.
Well, I mean, there's way more than that, but how can you watch enough wrestling to be an authority on a list of 500?
Exactly.
That's bananas.
at this point in 2019 is the WWE, NJPW, AEW, Impact, and ROH combined. I can think of maybe I might be able to get to 100 wrestlers.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe. So, it's kind of that thing. Like, how did you do 500? Gordon starts talking about the first match. And that first match that is shown on this video
is Buddy Landell and Ron Bass? Cowboy yes. Ron Bass. Don't forget the cowboy.
And J.J. Dillon is in Buddy Landell's corner. He used to be in Ron Bass's corner. And that's part
of the story.
So Ron Bass had been with Dillon for a long time, but they had actually had a falling out. When Landell came into the picture, Dillon started spending more time mentoring him.
It's a bromance, baby.
Exactly. Fun story about Landell, he was actually supposed to take the belt off of Ric Flair later this year, but he got into an argument with Jim Crockett, and basically that was his wrestling career.
Yeah. Is it him that they refer to as the Nature Boy?
Yes.
And I thought that was very weird. Also, he looks pretty similar to Ric Flair.
He does. Very much
but,
so.
when did they take that name off of him and throw it on Rick? Or were they just
Ric Flair already had it.
So there was just two Nature Boys?
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
I mean, there was a Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, at one point, and that's who Flair got the name from.
They need to be more creative than that.
It's true. It's very true. So on to this match. Bass gets thrown out of the ring, and Dillon kicks him. More brawling outside of the ring.
Yeah, doesn't he hit him with the bell at some point?
Yeah, I think so. Bass gets choked with a power cord.
Oh, yeah, there's the power cord. He hits him with the bell and then does the power cord spot, basically right off the bat. Also, these matches, anything that was probably slow gets cut. Completely. So you don't get the full match. There's hard cuts that are obvious and not hidden by any means, but it's only an hour-long tape.
Bass finally reverses the momentum, smashes Landell against the steel barricade. But then Bass starts chasing Dillon around the outside. Bass goes for the claw on Landell, but he gets out with a couple punches, and then all of a sudden the bell rings.
Yeah. What is
by the way, we're back in the NWA land.
It's an NWA show. It is. It's a dusty finish, baby.
Yeah. Time limit draw is what I'm guessing.
But how long could they have gone? I mean, it's cut for sure.
Yeah,
but
it totally is.
This is what we watched was probably 5 minutes.
I think it's 3.
Okay, wow.
3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. So how could they had a?
Maybe it was a time limit of 15.
All right.
Maybe. Post-match, Bass is still chasing Dillon on the outside, but Dillon crawls into the ring, but then he runs in like Keystone Cop style, running into. Bass applies the claw to Dillon, but Landell pulls him out of the ring and escapes to the back.
Yeah.
In the next match, says Ole and Arn Anderson
the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Why they're so the second match is that Minnesota Wrecking Crew, which is Ole and Arn Anderson, no relation in real life.
And those, but those
kayfabe cousin.
Kayfabe cousin. What are their actual last names?
Arn Anderson's
actually Arn Anderson, right?
Vern Day or something like that. I can't think of what his real name is right offhand.
Arn is a pretty great name.
Yeah. Versus Buzz Sawyer and Dick Slater. It's your favorite.
Yeah, I like Dick Slater. Buzz, this is
one of the last because he gets in trouble too. This is for the NWA National Tag Team Championship. So Sawyer and Slater rush the ring, start attacking the Andersons. Sawyer has.
Oh, I love those boots. They look so cool with the leg drop. They're so stupid.
They were very stupid.
Yeah,
looking.
They're like if you took an UGG and turned it inside out. It's pretty awesome. But and Ole uses it basically starts with a brawl, and Ole starts using the belt.
Like you said, the big leg drop by Sawyer on Arn, and Slater rushes in to attack Ole on the apron. Cut to Ole getting tossed from the top rope by Slater.
Yep.
And then basically Sawyer goes for a cover 2 or 3 times, and every time he goes for the cover, the ref is distracted by the Andersons. And then finally Ole breaks up a pin attempt with an elbow drop of his own, rolls Sawyer over, and the 1, 2, 3, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, and the victory.
It was a quick one. Not a great one. I like the boots.
Did you love Dick Slater still?
I don't even remember this happened so fast, and I watched it this morning. I have no strong opinions about this match outside of the cool boots.
I feel like this match probably went on longer than it probably should have, and to cut out all the boring parts was They had to find some interesting
things.
There wasn't much.
PWI editing team saved us. Saved us 10 minutes of our lives.
Head back to Bill Apter, who calls the next match the biggest match at the Bash.
This is also the first 6-man tag match we've seen.
Exactly.
Which I feel like is maybe it becomes a thing later on in
I think
the
NWA had a 6-man tag belt at some point.
I mean, you see it a lot in New Japan, which is probably the main thing that I pay attention to.
Yeah.
And there's always a 6-man, but I was surprised with the 6-man because I haven't seen that in a lot of North American matches.
In the older times. When he called it the biggest match, I was all like, really? This is and then he was like, with over 1,700 pounds in the ring, and I was like, oh,
and that's just Graham, Konga, and Abdullah.
I see what you did there, Bill Apter.
Yeah.
So this third match, we got Manny Fernandez, Sam Houston, Buzz Tyler versus Superstar Billy Graham, Konga the Barbarian, and Abdullah the Butcher, with Paul Jones in their corner.
Yep. Poor Sam Houston.
He was tiny compared to all these other people.
Yeah, he looks very small, but he just takes the brunt of everything. But he sells and bumps so well. I loved it.
Fun fact about Sam Houston.
I know nothing about him.
His big brother is Jake the Snake.
Oh, okay.
That's
all right. Yeah.
All I know about Sam Houston.
Where was he for Jake while Jake was smoking crack for the last 30 years?
Who knows? Dating Baby Doll.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he actually married Baby Doll.
Okay.
Which we'll meet later on in the show.
Do you have any facts about Baby Doll later?
Other than that he married Sam Houston.
Okay, cool.
So this match gets going. Barbarian's getting right hands from everywhere. As Fernandez,
Barbarian's
Houston, and Tyler.
totally a ham in the ring.
Oh, yeah, totally. A leaping crossbody off the second rope from Fernandez gets a 2 count. Then the heels start taking control of the match with Graham and Abby double-teaming Houston. And then Barbarian hits a leg drop on Houston. More damage on Houston from everybody.
I think Houston's the only person that took a real bump in this match.
But then a leapfrog and a crossbody from Houston to Superstar Billy Graham. And it brings everybody into the ring to brawl. And then in the melee, which we then cut to a very widescreen shot of the match, so you can't really see what is actually happening. Houston rolls Graham up for the win.
Good. I love it. I love that. I know it's silly, but I loved Sam Houston selling. I loved the crossbody, and I love that he actually, pinned Billy Graham. It was super fun. I'm a Sam Houston fan. I don't know if he ever wrestles again, but I had a big heart for Sam Houston.
I think the surprising thing about this is that you have him roll up Superstar Billy Graham, who used to be the biggest star in WWF.
I think that's why I was so excited. I like it when
he's probably the biggest star out of all these 6 people.
I don't know why he even agreed to take the pin.
Exactly. Back to the studio, Gordon is previewing the next match by stating, sometimes a manager will overstep in quest of victory. And then they show a video of Jimmy Valiant being ambushed by Paul Jones and his army. So that leads us into the 4th match, which is Jimmy Valiant, seconded by Buzz Tyler, and versus Paul Jones with Abdullah the Butcher as his second, in a dog collar match. We literally were just saying, have there ever been any more dog collar matches?
We get one right here.
First thing that happens, Jones goes to put the collar on Abby. But Buzz Tyler jumps in and forces it onto Jones. But while he's doing that, I don't know, the screen doesn't show it very well. But Abby actually reaches into his trunks and pulls out a spike.
Pulls out the FO, the foreign object.
And spikes Jimmy Valiant in the head.
Yeah, so it starts with color.
And opens up his forehead.
I was surprised that Paul Jones was he was more fit than I imagined.
Well, he was a wrestler for a long time, and then he just kind of transitioned into managing.
Yeah. It was just when you're wearing a suit,
exactly.
Can't tell.
So Jones is basically in control for most of the match, using the chain to damage Valiant. Then somehow he gets turned around on the second rope.
And there's a rack spot.
And, Valiant racks him with the chain. And then we get some Jimmy Valiant shaky leg.
Yeah, Boogie Boy. Jones, that's his... he's got a weird, I don't know if it's his catchphrase or what, but it's like FM 100 means music on his like the back of his trunks, and I was like, is he doing an ad for like a radio station, or is it because he's like the Boogie Woogie Man, or what?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, get paid.
So Jones, I guess, tries to escape the ring, and he's on the outside. Actually, Valiant just keeps pulling on the chain and knocking him into the ring post. Valiant just beating on Jones back in the ring, and then he puts the sleeper on. And then while he has the sleeper on, Abby tries to sneak in behind
with the FO.
And then Valiant goes to deal with him, but Jones comes from behind and hits Abby instead. And basically then we see Valiant hit the big elbow drop for the pin.
Yep.
Post-match, Abby starts attacking Valiant, and then Buzz Tyler comes in with a chair to clear the ring for Valiant and Tyler to stand tall. We then head back to the studio. Gordon's previewing the next match, calling it the closest thing to World War III.
He makes a bunch of, like, nuclear war, like, I mean, they're not jokes, but it's like comparing. And of course it's because this next match has Ivan Koloff.
It's the Russian team, Koloff, versus the Road Warriors. Ooh, what a rush!
I love their haircuts.
That was like literally one of my favorite sayings
as a kid.
Hawk and Animal. Gotta love them. With Paul Ellering with hair. Did you notice that? Paul Ellering had hair. And this match is for the NWA World Tag Team Championship.
And the AWA belts, or both their belts? Because they both have belts.
Technically, only the NWA belts were on the line. But the Road Warriors were the AWA champions.
Oh, okay.
The Road Warriors with Paul Ellering have all been inducted into the NWA Professional Wrestling, WWE, and Wrestling Observer Hall of Fames. Before I get started on the match, I got another. Do you know who this person is? Krusher Kruschev. He becomes more famous as a different gimmick.
What's this gimmick? Just tell me. I don't know.
Smash in the Demolition.
Okay.
But then he goes on to do another gimmick after that, which is one of the worst gimmicks of all time.
Is it the I can't think of it. The stupid Stormtrooper mask guy?
No. Repo Man.
Oh, he's Repo Man?
He's Repo Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Repo Man looks so cool. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid, but it's such a fun gimmick.
Yeah.
But back to the match. Road Warriors rush the ring, but the Russians get out. You see Hawk punishing Ivan. Hawk Irish whips Koloff into the corner and then runs into a big boot. Koloff goes off the top rope, but Hawk is up and press slams Koloff into the ring, which is a cool spot. Hawk bites Koloff and then another press slam.
Definitely some biting.
Animal taunts Krusher to come in, and when he finally does, Hawk rushes in and takes him to the outside where they're brawling. Back in the ring, though, Animal is trying to double chokeslam Koloff, but Krusher finally makes it away from Hawk and makes the save. Koloff then gets the hot tag to Krusher, who starts beating down Animal, and the Russians finally take control of the match. We get a lariat Russian sickle double KO spot from Krusher and Animal. But Animal gets the hot tag to Hawk, takes down both Russians. We get a big clothesline and a pin attempt, but Krusher makes the save. Which, a couple weeks ago, you asked me, side note here, you asked me the difference between a lariat and a clothesline. And I found out what it is.
Oh, really?
A clothesline, you have to keep your arms straight.
Oh, and the lariat,
like a clothesline,
hooks
like a lariat,
kind of thing.
Yeah, you're basically hooking and hitting them with.
Yeah,
I didn't know, and now we all know. And knowing is half the battle. Yeah, Krusher makes the save after the clothesline. Animal's in to chase him out. The Road Warriors are in the ring with Koloff and lifts him up for a power slam off the second rope. But Krusher comes from behind, hits Animal with a chair.
Yeah, we get a ref bump.
But somehow the chair's now in the ring, and Hawk grabs the chair and starts using it on both the Russians. Hits both of them like a couple times. And then the bell is rung. And we're all pretty sure it's probably a DQ. But they decide on the double DQ. Old Earl Hebner with his double DQs. He cannot get a straight 1-2-3 pin on any of these shows.
It was, I love the Russian heat. This isn't the best example of the Russian heat, but it's still real. It's still real in '85.
I was a huge fan of Hawk and Animal, Road Warriors. Warriors. I love the Road Warriors.
Yeah, I really love that one. That one has a mohawk, and the other one basically has the outline of a mohawk for hair.
They got all their gimmick from Mad Max.
Yeah, that would have been great.
It's always a good choice.
If we could have got a Animal and Hawk cameo in Fury Road.
That would have been fun. Unfortunately, one of them's dead.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
Are they? I thought they were both at like.
No, only one of them was.
Only one of them was at All In.
Yeah, only one was All In. The other one passed away. I think it's Laryngitis, which is Hawk, I believe. Don't quote me. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah.
Back to the studio. Abdullah and Sully are talking about Magnum TA, saying he's destined to be one of the greats. Sully says your favorite
belly
word.
To belly suplex, which is Magnum TA's like signatures, the belly to belly.
We actually get some highlights of Magnum TA
doing the belly to
giving
belly.
those belly to bellies to basically show how great of a move it is. And then Sully says his opponent Kamala is very unorthodox. So we get that sixth match of the show, Magnum TA versus Kamala with Skandor Akbar.
What a name, Skandor Akbar. Are you gonna say it?
It's a trap!
I knew I couldn't stop you. I'm glad you got it out of your system, though.
And the match is for the NWA US Championship. Kamala with lots of overhead chops to the shoulders as the match begins.
I love his stupid overhead chop. I mean, I don't know, yeah. It doesn't look like it hurts or anything. It's just very animated, and it was fun. I mean, obviously, that character shouldn't have flown at any time, but at least he has a cool chop.
Yeah. We get a flying crossbody to take Kamala off of his feet. Then Kamala tries to wear down Magnum with a chokehold. Magnum gets up, but an overhead chop and then a big splash, but only a 2 count. Get another big splash, but for some reason Kamala doesn't roll him over to try for another cover. And then Kamala Irish whips and goes to splash Magnum in the corner, but TA moves. Then we get 3 drop kicks by TA. Gets the pin, 1, 2, 3.
Well,
goes for the pin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he goes for the pin and then does the belly to belly.
Akbar actually jumps in the ring when he's going for the pin, and he breaks it up, and the ref calls for the bell because obviously you have outside.
Oh yeah.
This is a horrible finish to this match.
But I did love that TA does. It's a pretty sloppy belly to belly, but Kamal's a big guy, so whatever.
Yeah.
But then he counts for himself, and I love that he like. He
he
covered him anyway, and then counted the pin himself.
Oh yeah, the match is over. I guess that's all.
Yeah, I just loved him counting for himself. He's like, screw it, I won.
So we go back to Abdullah and Sully. They start talking Nikita Koloff. He's the Russian ambassador of destruction. Get a video of an Ivan Koloff promo. He says basically the Kremlin has chosen Nikita to be the next world champion.
Oh yeah, and I love this. It's like them basically working out in a dank basement.
Yeah.
And there's a bag that he's punching, and it's got a picture of Ric Flair taped to it. It's all really fun.
Yes. We also get a video of Nikita attacking David Crockett, which will come into play as David Crockett is the special referee. Apter says that Ric Flair went to the board of directors and demanded that the Koloffs not be suspended because he wants Koloff in the ring.
Because USA, baby.
That's right. And then we get a video from another show of Flair attacking Nikita, which leads us right into the 7th match of the show. Ric Flair versus Nikita Koloff, with Ivan Koloff in his corner, for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Special guest referee.
David Crockett is the special referee. So Nikita makes his entrance as the Russian national anthem is being played. Got to get that Russian heat.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Cheap heat, baby.
And then, who of anybody is going to arrive in a helicopter? But Ric Flair. And of course, as Spach Zarathustra plays over the PA. We even get a woo as Flair is about to enter the ring.
Yeah, he doesn't spam the woos like he does later in his career at this point.
No, definitely doesn't. Basically, the match starts off, Koloff showing off his power, just throwing Flair around like a rag doll.
Yep.
We get Flair chops in the corner and then a hip toss. It really felt like even though Crockett was put in this match because he was beaten up by Nikita, he was calling it down the middle.
Oh, yeah.
He was doing a good job. We get a Nikita bear hug, which is always super fun. Flair escapes with an atomic drop. And then a back suplex by Flair locks in the figure 4. Nikita breaks the hold by gouging the eyes.
Yeah, the little face rake.
We get everyone's favorite classic Flair spot. The Irish whip into the corner, flips over the ropes, and tumbles off into the outside.
Yeah. Is this the one where he, maybe that's another match, but he like lands on a chair as soon as he falls out of the ring?
It might be a different match.
Right.
I don't remember if chair being there, but that may have been. Koloff slams Flair's head into the ring post, and Flair is broken open. Exactly.
Yeah, basically he throws him in there. Flair hits the ground, cuts himself while Nikita gets back in the ring.
Exactly.
And that all that blood looks great on that bleach blonde white hair.
Yeah. We have a Russian sickle from Nikita that has Flair down, but Nikita takes too long to cover and only gets a 2 count. Another bear hug attempt, but Flair claps the ears to escape. We get some chops, some styling and profiling, which leads to a vertical suplex.
Right before that suplex, though, there's a spot that I loved where he wiped blood from his face and flicked it to Ivan on the outside, and I thought that was pretty gnarly and a good visual.
I missed that.
And it was right before that big suplex to the elbow drop.
Yeah, the elbow drop. Still another 2 count. Flair stays on Nikita with some lefts, rights, chops, just trying to wear him down. Ivan, all of a sudden, is up on the top rope and goes to jump in, but David Crockett gets in the way, takes a little bit of a ref bump, and then real life happens.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't sure if that was planted or not, but I had a feeling that it wasn't. But Fan
rushes the ring and starts attacking Nikita because he's a Russian. You got to attack the Russians, right? Security finally clears the ring, and the match just kind of continues from where it left off. We see the Flair Irish whip spot again.
Oh, we get a man-possessed call. Fighting like a man-possessed.
You do. But he stays on the apron this time, runs to the top rope, and a crossbody onto Nikita. This crossbody was horrible.
Is it worse than...
It was worse
than Starrcade 83?
Than Starrcade 83. Oh. But they roll over Ivan, who's still laying in the ring, which is very similar to the Starrcade 83 ending, but we only get a 1 count. Flair then goes out onto the apron and starts giving chops and elbows to Nikita, who's kind of has his arms locked in the ropes on the inside. Nikita tries to lift him up to do a suplex, but I thought Flair held onto the ropes. I also read that possibly Nikita tripped on David Crockett's feet. I don't know which one, so I've seen it both. I could see it either way. But basically, somehow, Nikita isn't able to get Flair up completely, and Flair falls on top of Nikita. David Crockett counts the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I kind of liked that finish. It was kind of surprising. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. Lift him over the ropes, but not be able to hold him up and him falling, and then right into the count.
Yeah,
it's like maybe this match was an hour long, but with the quick cuts, it's not. If it was like an hour long, you'd be like, oh, he's so tired, he can't do it. It was a weird way to end it.
Exactly. Post match, the Koloffs start stomping on Crockett and then attacking Flair. All of a sudden, we get an announcement telling fans to stay clear of the ring. So I'm wondering if there was more.
Maybe it was like nickel beer night in North Carolina.
Nikita came off the top rope while Ivan was holding Flair to give him a backdrop Russian sickle combo, which looked pretty cool. And then your new favorite wrestler, Sam Houston, rushes in.
Oh, he does.
But Nikita basically tears him up and kicks him out of the ring. Some more chump wrestlers join in, and the Koloffs.
Don't call Sam a chump.
I didn't call Sam. I called the other wrestlers who I didn't know who they were. But the Koloffs keep tossing them from the ring. And then one more Russian sickle on Flair sends him over the top rope to the outside. And we cut away from the match. Headed back to the studio, Gordon Solie starts talking Tully, Blanchard, and Baby Doll with a cool video of them in a limo at an airport.
Also, I was surprised at how much of a rocker Baby Doll is.
I know. I didn't know what she looked like at all going into this. I just kept hearing
the name
Baby Doll.
Yeah, she looks pretty badass, honestly.
I expected a much more feminine-ish.
Oh no, she looks like she should be in Joan Jett's band.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't mean anything bad by what I said.
No. But no, she's a babe, but she's like totally. Like alternative for 85. Not the kind of look you would assume for like a ring valet in like wrestling in 85 or even like all the way up to like 98.
True. Apter starts talking Dusty Rhodes, and then we get a video of Blanchard and Baby Doll trying to blind Dusty by throwing a fireball.
The fireball looked legit. I mean, it obviously was. It was real fire, but it looked. That angle was good, and it looked pretty brutal.
Exactly. We get a Dusty promo here. He's going to be the judge, jury, and hangman.
I love that. I have that too. And hangman, not executioner. He's the hangman, daddy.
Sully starts previewing the match, of course.
Yeah, he's got the glasses on, and you can tell there's a bandit underneath it. He's got the hat on, and like as he's talking, he like takes one off, and then the other, and his eyes, like, this is a pretty bad tape, so I can't tell if he's like actually got any kind of like bruising on his eyes or not, or if it's like makeup, because this is definitely not 1080.
No,
it's not even like 720 by any means.
But yeah, Sully starts previewing the next match, calling it the Dealer versus the Riverboat Gambler for the gold and the girl.
Yeah.
Dramatic pause there was great. So we head into the 8th match. Obviously, we get it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Oh, I wasn't sure if you talked about if Dusty wins, he gets Baby Doll for 30 days.
I hadn't said it yet.
Sorry.
But I was getting there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. 8th match, Dusty Rhodes versus Tully Blanchard with Baby Doll in a non-sanctioned, lights-out steel cage match for the NWA World Television Championship and 30 days of Baby Doll's services.
That's so gnarly. God.
Some real-life information here. Uh-huh. I feel like Dusty may have added the lights-out stipulation, so this match had to be the main event, which I don't know if everyone knows, but Dusty and Ric Flair kind of had a little bit of a real-life feud. And so it was kind of Dusty being the booker of the show, kind of going, I'm going to be the main event, even though you're the World Heavyweight Champion.
Also, if it's in a cage, it's normally at the end of the
It usually is, but he added the extra stipulation to make sure that
he was on the top of the card.
Exactly. So the match begins, and Tully pulls Dusty into the steel cage, and Dusty's eye is bleeding.
Immediate color. Immediate color.
Do you feel like it was already worse than what it was at Starrcade 84?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, basically, they brawl for a second. He throws him off the cage, elbow drops him, and then it's just like, just like a splash of paint.
Exactly.
A big splash of paint.
We get some atomic elbows, maybe even bionic. By Rhodes. Throws Tully into the cage, starts dragging his face against the steel cage.
And then we get some TV color as well.
Exactly. Rhodes goes for a vertical suplex, but Tully reverses. Goes to go off the ropes, but Dusty comes back with a clothesline of his own.
And locks in that figure 4.
Locks in the figure 4, but Tully rolls it over and gets the ropes to escape. Tully goes for a pile driver, but Dusty backdrops him. And then we get Tully trying to escape the cage, which it wasn't really said if that was a...
Yeah, they don't say whether it's a 3 count.
If they have to get pinned or if you can climb out of the cage.
I mean, traditionally a cage match is like out of the cage.
You can, but usually the cages, at least, are usually a little bit bigger than... Because, like, literally he could have jumped from the ring post to the top of the cage if he had wanted to. He goes to escape the cage. Dusty climbs up and starts to headbutt him. Great place for a headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
We get an atomic elbow, and Tully falls to the ring. And then Dusty walks out into the middle of the rope a little bit. And
it's kind of weird because you figure like he could just go off the top, and he's not going to do any kind of flip.
Exactly.
So him walking like a foot or two off of the rope, doing some more like something you see more often in like lucha and high flyers.
Exactly. But he misses a flying elbow. Tully goes back up to the top of the cage, and Baby Doll hands him
an elbow pad.
And
I asked you about this because I was confused. Like, what is he going to do with an elbow pad? Which you explained.
So in the video package that was earlier, whenever they did the fireball, Baby Doll actually had run in
and gave him whatever the fireball thing is. Flash paper.
Elbow pad.
Oh, it was an elbow pad?
That had the flash paper or whatever in it basically. And that's
But
basically what you were supposed to think was that, they're doing the same thing so we can throw another fireball.
They didn't say that in the package. I just assumed that she just gave him the flash paper or whatever. But so I was like, what's he going to do with an elbow pad?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just probably me being dumb at 10 a.m.
But then Tully gets back into the ring, and Dusty, literally, as soon as he gets in the ring, hits Tully with a pile driver.
A very not good-looking pile driver.
No, it did.
It looks bad.
It looked very bad. And
it was a Ric Flair crossbody bad.
And Dusty gets the win. Dusty's winning, just won. The announcers are going on and on
about Baby Doll.
He gets Baby Doll services
for 30 days.
For the next 30 days. But then all of a sudden, they remember, and new. Oh yeah, that's right. He won the belt too. That's right. He's the new television champion. And
at the end, I like how she's throwing a fit or whatever, but there's a bunch of people, so you can't actually see him.
Yeah, a bunch of wrestlers
all talking about
grab her so she can't run off.
It's pretty fucked up.
They head back to the studio, and Bill Apter, Gordon Solie basically say their goodbyes.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, that kind of thing.
PWI, that they drop King of Sports at some point. It's just a typical goodbye, and we get our montage, which I love.
Montage with the credits rolling.
And a fantastic song.
Exactly. Which you probably have heard some of already. Overall thoughts of this hour-long highlight video?
Oh, it's hour-long. It's fun. It's cool. There's fun stuff in there. It was nice to get video packages, with the exception of the elbow pad thing, but that just might have been me, that actually tell the backgrounds. Because in 83 and 84, and even in WrestleMania, they don't go into... why the setup of the story is much not like today where
you get a 5-minute long video package.
Yeah, before every WWE pay-per-view thing. And even on the weekly shows, it's all all video package all the time.
I mean, I'm glad this was a highlight video because they clipped probably most of these matches were probably a problematic 10 to 12 minutes, and they cut them down to 4 minutes long, which made them very tolerable and mostly entertaining.
I didn't like the fact that the crowd was so far away outside of the 40 rows.
I mean, literally other than the fan rushing the ring, you probably could have done the show without a crowd there because there was no heat really.
There was a little bit, but there wasn't that many people actually around the ring. It was bizarre.
I mean, I feel like no match was really there wasn't an incredible match in this, but there wasn't one of those matches where it's just why is this match happening?
Yeah. You can skip it, but I wouldn't tell you to skip it.
No, if you can definitely find a copy of this, I would definitely say watch it because it's going to be an hour of your life, and you're going to enjoy. It's probably the last two matches most of all.
Yeah. One thing that was weird to me was that at the beginning of this video and at the end, the company that put it out was Vestron, which was an early VHS.
Vestron.
Early VHS company, and I guess they were one of the. We all know about Coliseum, but I guess they were doing it before that, and this was one of the earlier wrestling tapes. It was, I guess, whom sold it in stores. Where else you can sell it? But and Vestron was recently brought back by Lionsgate to put out old horror movies on Blu-ray,
nice.
Chopping Mall and Dagon are two that come to mind. I think The Gate, which is a great Canadian kind of Goonies, but with a lower budget and demonic claymation demons. But I was interested to see that Vestron was making wrestling tapes in 85.
I think that's all for Great American Bash 85.
Yeah, I don't got a whole lot to say about this. It was I didn't regret the hour that I spent watching it.
No, definitely not.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? There. All right, fuck you.
But I feel like it's time for us to spark it up. What do you feel some of the better moments of this show were?
Sam Houston taking bumps.
Sam Houston.
I love my Sam Houston bumps.
You do love your Sam Houston.
I don't know why. I love that he rolled up Billy Graham. I know that it's stupid, but I don't mind it when wrestling's stupid. I'm not a purist like that.
I don't mind either when it makes sense. I mean, obviously seeing the Road Warriors back in the day is one of my best moments.
The Buddy Landell thing was weird, and he was really good in the ring. It was just weird to see him be called the Nature Boy and also look like Ric Flair. And then, like, I guess he, had made some bad decisions. I don't know how far along after that, but his career didn't last long, and I'm pretty sure that he probably maybe got into drugs or something. Is kind of what I assumed based on the things that I read. But he looked good in this match. Exactly. He looked good in this match, so I was like surprised that I'll be interested to see how much more we see of him as we move forward.
Exactly. I think we see him at Starrcade 85, but other than that, I'm not real sure what we see of him after that.
Do they do a storyline where he's Ric Flair's like son that's only like 3 years younger?
How about some disappointing moments from this show?
I don't know. It was so like well cut that like when a match ended, I wasn't like I couldn't get in. They cut out those like the breather moments, so it was hard to really like build any match to any kind of like fever pitch or excitement.
That's true. I mean,
which I guess is a low point, but
I'd probably say the worst. And when I say worst, I it's a very non-literal term, but the Anderson versus Sawyer and Slater match was probably the worst match on the show, just because it felt like
I didn't really accomplish anything.
It did, yeah, exactly. It didn't accomplish anything, and
it was also a really quick match for like a tag team match.
Exactly, which is pretty much done because of the editing. But if that's the highlights of that match,
I'm glad that they cleaned it up for me.
How about the best performer? I'm gonna go Magnum TA. I want to see more Magnum TA.
Yeah, I'd like to see him fight somebody that's a little bit smaller and moves more in the ring, because we all know Kamala's just throwing like, I don't know, what's like a tomahawk chop? I don't know what you call it, but he basically just comes down with the edge of his hand on the top of their head, but he swings his arm up real big. But yeah, I'd love to see him in a match with somebody that's near his level at least.
Last but not least, anything surprising?
The baby doll thing, it shouldn't be surprising, but like just and they get her for 30 days, and I'm like, that's.
But there's a belt on the line too. I know that's the most surprising. Like they totally forgot about the belt completely in the match. It was just like it was all about baby dolls.
And it's like it just feels like when you're a kid and you like make a bet with like your sibling or whatever. It's like, oh, well, you have to like do all my chores, or you have to be my slave for a day or whatever. And it's just it's really silly.
I also found surprising that in the Flair match that some of the closing moments were very reminiscent of like past matches that we've just seen in Starrcade 83.
I mean, they like at this point, Ric Flair's calling it in the ring.
Basically,
and they have a finish.
Doing the exact same match every single time.
Yeah, it's like not as many people are seeing this. It's not on TV Monday at 7 or whatever.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You can kind of tour with the same thing, get paid the same, so.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's also like, how many times has Hogan finished the match the same way?
Every single time?
Yeah, every single time. So I guess if it works,
they'll fix it. He didn't do the leg drop at WrestleMania 1.
No, I was surprised.
It's true. I was surprised there too.
We can go edit back our surprise to WrestleMania 1. This is our addendum.
Now time for a look back even farther into the history of wrestling.
The Dusty Finish.
Martin Farmer Burns trained over 1,600 wrestlers in his time. That included such names as James Irvin Toots Mont, Ruddy Dusek, Earl Caddick, and Frank Gotch. At the age of 22...
Is that the Gotch style pile driver?
That is the Gotch style pile driver.
Look at me. That's awesome.
At the age of 22, Gotch lost a match to Burns in 11 minutes. It was seen as a decisive victory considering some matches went on for hours. But Burns saw the potential, as well as Gotch's already famous toehold, and offered to train him. Frank Gotch would find success in Iowa, including winning the American Heavyweight Championship in 1904, the same title Burns had won 10 years prior. Gotch's star was on the rise, as was wrestling's. The farther it moved away from the carnival origins toward legitimacy, the more popular it became. And as Gotch set his sights on becoming the first American to win the World Heavyweight Championship, it would just get bigger. So next week...
What is next week?
WWE's The Wrestling Classic.
So this is the only thing in between WrestleMania 2, or is there a Starrcade?
It's the only thing in between WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 2 from WWE.
All right.
But we also have... There'll be some Starrcade, I think, in there somewhere that we'll cover in a couple weeks as well.
I'm going to search out those MTV shows. I'm sure we probably won't cover them. If I watch them, we can probably talk about it a little bit. Yeah, if there's anything interesting. But I knew that they worked with MTV, but I never really thought about those shows.
I know the first show, the Brawl to End It All, is actually the highest rated MTV show of all time.
Oh, of all time? I think the Brawl to End It All is a fantastic name for a show.
That's true. It very much is. If you like the music from this episode, we got the theme music from the Great American Bash video at the beginning. And then Dusty Rhodes was using You Can't Judge a Book by Its Cover by Hank Williams Jr. and Huey Lewis, which is probably playing right about now.
I didn't even catch that in the show.
They didn't play his entrance music. Like Flair and Nikita were the only ones that got entrance music, really. That's what he was going with as entrance music back then.
I'm going to have to check that out.
You can always rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or just wherever you find your podcast at. Give us those reviews. Let us know how you feel. You can also email us at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. And we'll talk to you next week.
Cover.